Oh yes, if you haven't guessed it already, this is the W204 Mercedes C63. Now, we've reviewed some of these before, but never one like this. This has the rather rare factory-fitted mechanical locking differential, which frankly is very much needed in a car with more engine than interior space. How much of a difference does it make then? Let's put it through its paces. My name's Tom, and you're watching Paragon Cars. Let's go. Before we start, please like, subscribe and hit the bell if you'd like us to keep bringing you this content. Also, don't forget to follow our socials for updates on our stock. Links in the description below. Now, as many of you already know, this is the last naturally aspirated C63. And whilst I love me a turbo, there's something so undeniably satisfying about the way a big NA engine builds speed. Talking about that engine, this is a 6.2 litre V8 with 457 horsepower and 600 Nm of torque. It's connected to a nowadays pretty slow but also pretty reliable 7-speed transmission. 0 to 60 is dispatched in around 4.5 seconds depending on the weather, but this car is not about 0 to 60 times, it's about the roll, or well, the 30 to 70 sprint. The two previous C63s we've reviewed were both mapped, so it's going to be interesting to see whether the extra traction from the diff makes a difference. That's such a terrible joke. Let's have a look and see what she did. Well, I'll be damned. This old boy didn't just beat both of the mapped C63s, it beat a new C63S. And that's actually pretty weird, as the C63S also has a diff. I think there's two more things as well as the diff that contribute to that awesome time. One being tyres, this C63 is running some fairly newish Michelin PS4Ss, and the other thing is the smooth power delivery of that NA engine. What a result though, this old dog can still throw a punch. Inside this rather red AMG is what you'd call a fairly dated interior. However, I will say this, for its age it still has all the mod cons I like, Bluetooth audio being one of them. The seats themselves may not look as aggressive as the newer AMGs, but don't be fooled, they still squeeze your kidneys nicely. The other thing that's a squeeze is, well, just general room on the inside of the car. The driver's seat isn't the roomiest, but the space for rear passengers is pretty awful for a saloon car by today's standards. At least you get your own cup holders though. Before we check out the boot, I just want to point something out that shows just how stingy manufacturers can be at times. Look at this sunroof. It opens and closes electronically. Lovely. But if you want a bit of shade, you have to close the blind manually. Keep in mind this was a near or over £70,000 car when it was new. And that's back when you didn't need to remortgage your house to buy some cheese. Anyway, the boot. It's actually not bad at 475 litres. It's actually larger than the newer C63, believe it or not. Plus, with the seats folded down, you're good for carrying pretty much anything you'd ever need. For a small family car, this is pretty much ideal, I'd say. Okay, enough chit-chat. Let's drive this thing. Oh, I'm looking forward to this. Right, before we start the driving section part of this review, I do just want to say only 1% of people that watch these videos are subscribed to our channel, so please, if you're watching these videos, please do subscribe, as it makes more of a difference than you know. And also, people who are subscribed, thank you for watching the videos. It makes a huge difference and it means we can keep doing these reviews. Anyway, what's this Mercedes C63 like to drive around town? Well, suspension is stiff but compliant. Steering is nice and sharp. It's got that kind of old school feel to it. Plenty of feel through the wheel though, which is nice. Now today we're also doing something slightly different with these reviews, as I've noticed a lot of people tend to turn off a little bit when we're on the motorway section part of this review. So what I'm going to do is basically go through all the main things like comfort, MPG, all that kind of stuff very quickly at the end of the motorway, and then we can get straight to the fun part of the review, which is driving the car a little bit harder, having some fun on the B road. That's interesting. I can already feel the diff working even though we're just in comfort mode. It feels really mechanical. Like, it's not like it sort of slowly locks, it's like unlocked and then locked. Feels very old school. This is proper German muscle, isn't it? Like there, pulling away from the lights, it's just got so much more composure than a car without a locking diff does. So much more, like really surprisingly a lot more. But then parking. One advantage of being a slightly older car is that it's also smaller. So parking a car like this is actually fairly easy. You got slightly wider arches than something like that old C-Class, but it's fundamentally still a fairly small car at the end of the day. And it means driving around a city like London is actually pretty easy. And look how much room I've got either side. Like, I can easily open my door like pretty much all the way. Not bad, eh? And for a performance car, the steering's actually fairly light, which is nice. In sports mode it does become a little bit heavier, but it's still not crazy. Right then, let's see what this diff can do. Half throttle coming out of junction. Woohoo! It's still got that stupid traction control. If you didn't know, the traction control in these older cars are not really like what should I call smooth. They basically either give you 100% of the power or no power. And I think because this has a diff, when it does break traction, the traction control system kind of freaks out, or it certainly seems to. But when we turn it off later, it should make the car much better to drive. Anyway, let's reset our trip computer, see what MPG we can get on the motorway. You can actually get nearly 30 miles per gallon out of this thing. I'm going to drive fairly slowly on the motorway, like 60 miles an hour, just to see what kind of figure you can get out of this thing if you're hypermiling it. Before we do that, let's have a quick taste of the handling and see if that diff makes a difference. Right, let's not waste any time. Into manual. Where's the traction? Traction into sports. Let's see what this diff can do. Oh yes. It's glorious. One thing's for sure, that engine never gets old. There's a car in the way now. We've got to be slightly careful. We can give it a little blip. The traction coming out of corners is mad! And you feel that rear rotating way more than it usually does. Way more. You know, I had to feather the throttle there. Usually you can just pin it and it'll just kind of go very slightly sideways. This wanted to do a full drift. Okay, more of that to come later. Let's see what this thing's like on the motorway. Okay, on the motorway, what's this Mercedes C63 like? Well, wind noise and road noise are pretty low, even for an older car. Only thing you notice is that burble of that lovely 6.2 litre V8. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Over a long journey, might get a bit tiring, but for a guy like me, it will never get tiring. The only other thing you notice is that the seating position is quite high up, and the seats themselves, whilst they're not uncomfortable, they're certainly not as comfortable as the newer seats in the new Mercedes C63. But for a long journey, it's doable. You know, it's not the best, but it's doable. Anyway, we are going to see what kind of MPG we can get out of this thing. I will come back to you in about 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, we had a fairly clear day today on the M25, and that meant we got a fairly good figure for what is a ginormous engine. We're currently sitting just under 26 miles per gallon, which isn't a great figure in the grand scheme of things. But do you know what? For a car like this, I think that's pretty good. You know, the new one only does like 28 to 30. An M4 will do like 34 miles per gallon if you're nice to it. And this is naturally aspirated. It sounds better, arguably, but you know, most people are going to agree with me on that one, I think. And it just feels nicer to drive. The response on the motorway when you just touch the throttle is just sublime. It just picks up speed in a way that a turbocharged car can't replicate. It's like this effortless, huge surge of torque that just instantly comes in. You're not waiting for any turbos to spool. It's just there and it's ready. Right, enough waffle. Let's get on a B road and shred some tyres. Okay, we're back in full attack, manual with the traction in sports. We're not going to go fully off because it is still a public road and you get people like that don't know where they're going. Let's see what this thing's like. A lot more grip with the diff. A lot of front end grip as well, actually. She wants to go. She wants to go indeed. See, the traction comes in pretty early there. Another thing I noticed is the gearbox is definitely happier in manual than in Sports Plus. For some reason in Sports Plus it like tries to change faster but can't, whereas manual it's just, you know, it just does what you tell it to. Oh. This is a proper V8. Right, let's open the sunroof. Let's get a bit of sound through here, eh? Woo! That's a noise that doesn't get old, isn't it? Now we've got to be quiet around here. I'm hoping they didn't hear us on the other side. Oh well. Right, sunroof closed. Oh, that power band is so nice. It's like this guttural, thunderous V8. Just sublime. Yeah, I mean that diff allows you to do some pretty trick stuff. And the funny thing is, it actually makes it easier to drive like that. You know, it wants to go sideways slightly quicker, but when you're going sideways, it makes it much easier to control. Like, you know exactly what the car's doing. And it never does that weird fishtailing thing that you get with cars with an open diff, where like you correct it and then it suddenly slaps to the other side. So yeah, if you get one of these and you can get a diff, I'd highly recommend it. Okay then, down the tighter B road. Even though this is a saloon car, it is fairly small. So navigating down some tighter British stuff is fairly easy. You can even steer just with the rear end, apparently. Slow down because there's a lorry here. Don't know what he's doing. And the suspension over bumps is pretty good, actually. It's not overly firm, so you get a nice kind of like, not soft but compliant feel to it. It's so responsive out of corners, man. Right, I'm not gonna launch it. We'll go from second gear. Got to be at least somewhat nice to the gearbox. A lot of traffic today, so we do have to be careful. But the good thing about a naturally aspirated power band is that it makes it very easy to control. I forgot to mention the brakes as well. These are 1.5 or 2-piece rotors, I believe. And it basically means they're lighter and theoretically should mean the car handles very slightly better. The only thing I'm noticing so far is that the diff makes the biggest difference, and in terms of braking, they feel just as sharp as regular brakes, but I am noticing the rebound of the suspension is very slightly quicker almost. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe having less unsprung mass means the suspension should be slightly better. Someone with a bit more knowledge can let me know in the comments below. All I know is that the car brakes really well. Right, one more time. And then to finish off the video, I'm just going to leave you with some sound, I think. As it's an engine and a noise that we're not going to see again, unfortunately. Those gear shifts are bigger. And the downshifts. What a beast. I mean, what do you say about a car like this? Putting the experience into words is nigh on impossible. The closest thing to it really is drugs. Yeah, it's like a very addictive drug, but without the detrimental effects. Well, apart from draining your bank account, of course. Anyway, as always, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, please like and please subscribe, because without your help, we wouldn't be able to do what we love. My name's Tom, and you've been watching Paragon Cars. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.